Welcome to the Inner Champions podcast. Would you like to promote your business so the world can find you? If so, follow us at Inner Champions Podcast on Instagram. Lastly, follow our current sponsors Tees Enchanted Trinkets on Instagram and The Real Talk with Jordyn.
Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Coach from the Inner Champions podcast with a special feature on the Golden Sky radio station. I have with me a very special guest that I have recently met over social media, and she has a phenomenal, tremendous story to tell today for all of us to hear. But before she does that, I want to make it very clear that this is not for the views. This is not for the likes. This is to spread awareness on her story, on her current situation that she has going on. And what better platform than all of you to hear? And maybe if you can extend a little bit further, if you feel the need and so choose to, we have some different things that you can do. I'll go ahead and throw her little thing on the screen for you that you can see right there. For those of you that are listening, all links and descriptions will be in the description below and other places you can find these things. So without further ado, I want to introduce my guest today, and that is Lila.
So, hi, I am Lila Ellis. I was diagnosed with lupus SLE about 2 years back and was completely thrown when I got the diagnosis. Traveling down in that, I have had multiple situations. I've always been the person who is the giver. I have a storehouse for the homeless. I have always been the one who was able to help people in need. And that dramatically changed after I ended up having to completely drain our savings for my medical care due to Florida not wanting to allow me to be on insurance. And now I am 2 years into this, and I have just found out that I could possibly have leukemia, and I cannot get into the oncologist in order to be seen due to this insurance fight I'm still in.
Yeah, guys, and for those of you that are listening and will be listening, I want you guys to know that I think that this story resonated with me because I think that it's important to note that everybody in all walks of life has a story. I even have a story of my own, as you guys will continue to hear here on the Inner Champions podcast through Golden Sky Radio. So come back in a few weeks and you're going to get a story of who is Coach, what does Coach do, this personal situation and story that she is currently conquering and going through like a champion hit home for me because I understand the whole philosophy about certain medical bills and certain situations not being want to be covered by insurances because unfortunately, and I'll be honest with everybody, is that when it comes to medical, they say a lot of times they're there for you, but again, we're in a dire situation of a prime example where this is just opinion based. I don't think that they are. I don't think that they are giving her, a chance. They're not giving her the time of day, and it's just denial after denial, and it's unfortunate. So we are coming on this platform to again spread awareness about the situation, spread awareness about what she's going on in her life, and yes, I have to be honest with everybody. She does need help, and that is a point of why we're here. And that is where you see. And for those of you that don't see, don't forget all the links and everything will be in the description below to follow. But anyway, but with all that being said, I want to ask a couple other questions to Lila. With you finding out 3 years ago, what has helped you be along with the storehouse, but what has helped you be able to conquer this and just continue your normal life to the best of its ability?
Definitely God first, because I won't lie, I lost that faith for a little bit until I realized that He created me to be a little different, a warrior in a sense, and that everything that I was going to do was going to prosper in a major way. So that helped push me along with my family. My husband, I've got a amazing husband, and he keeps me pushing every day. So those would be my top on why I continue to do this.
Nice.
In my own words, I want to live my fullest life. I want that chance.
Nice. And what she's saying, ladies and gentlemen, is that, just like anybody else, that a story would hit home for me. Everybody has the chance to live. She has the chance to live. She again has a beautiful family. I've been able to speak with her on multiple occasions on and off the platform. So this isn't just oh, let me pick up your story and let's go with it, let's run with it. I do know a lot more backstory behind just her and what she does. And if we can for a few minutes, let's talk about I guess what kind of inspired you to do your storehouse and let the people know about how they can help there and what they can do.
Definitely. So the storehouse came to me about 5 or 6 months ago. Um, it was more of like a vision of what I needed to be doing to help the homeless community, to give them light in their darkness. So the way that I took or perceived that to happen is in my community. It's a very small community. There's not a lot of help here. So I took to TikTok, and I went to TikTok under the Walk by Faith Storehouse, and I took donations from an Amazon wish list in order to fill our um, storehouse. And I would make baggies and go help them, or if they reached out and told me they needed something, I would do whatever I could to help them do that. The storehouse helps me because it helps me to understand that no matter what I'm going through, there's always other people out there that are going through much worse. And so that gives you, a type of being humbled, and understanding that we all need to look outside instead of on the inside of what we have going on. Because there's so many people out here that are really having a hard time.
Yeah, and again, that's a good point that you say that. I'm going to go into this for a second. Is that, ladies and gentlemen, just know that with everything that she's had go on medically, she has ultimately put not it aside, but put it kind of on a back burner, and because she is all about the people first and about others first, and I think that's another thing that kind of resonated with me, and I fall in the same suit of, yes, I have a lot of things going on in my personal life, even in 2026 currently. But I have a bigger heart or equal heart to what she does, and I think that's why that we connected as well as we did, is because other people first. And again, like I said prior to this, is that everybody has a story. Everybody should have a chance to tell their story. This is currently Lila's story and what Lila has overcome, and she's going to achieve. And she is a warrior, and I just couldn't be more honored to do this special edition episode or show with her. But let alone of letting her give a chance to enlighten you guys what is currently going on in Lila's life. So, Lila, with all of that being said, is there any more or that you want to just spread awareness about the current cancer situation that you are fighting right now?
So I'm not really sure on what level this is all going to come to. At first it was a scare, and now it's just a bigger reason for me to fight. I think that I would like to let everyone know that every single person, no matter what they've done or who they are, deserves a chance to live. Everyone. And I don't do things like this normally. I am normally the person that sits quietly on my hands, especially with like my lupus. I've learned how to cope with that and know what signs I need to look for in order to know if I'm going into a danger zone, because I have systematic lupus, so it actually attacks your organs. But with a cancer possibility, that is where I realize, okay, at this point I have to stand up and do something for myself, because that you don't want that. You don't want to walk that path. It could get bad, and but just understanding that everybody deserves a chance. Especially like with the situation with medical care and things like that. Like maybe we need to get out here and speak a little louder on the situation. It's very important that people who have illnesses get insurance. So I think that would probably be my only thing I'd have left on that.
Nice. And again, she said it perfectly right there, ladies and gentlemen. The primary reason for her being with us today on the Inner Champions podcast on Golden Sky Radio and on these platforms is to give her a chance to speak, give her a chance to say her side of her story. And again, shine some light on the situation, the scenario. And we're not coming on here and just saying it, basing it around just cancer. There's all different kinds of medical conditions. I've had some medical conditions myself growing up through my life, and you will soon find out what those are and what those entail. And it'll take me some time to do that, but I'll do that for you guys here. And I hope you guys will come back and listen to all that. But that's for another day, for another time. A couple more things that I want to really, I think, shine the light on is now, with all of this being done, I know, and going on, I know that you are, I've seen on some of your TikToks that you are a very much natured person, and you love the outdoors. And maybe if someone else is going through something along these lines, or in some type of need of, you know, finding a way to, or let's not say finding a way, let's say outlet. What are some of your skills and some of your outlets that you have been able to find that work for you? And then we'll get into some other questions after that.
So cooking and baking, number one. We actually, not many people know this, but we actually have a small bakery. It's kind of at a standstill right now. So cooking and baking would definitely be one. Walking in nature. I love nature, animals, the whole nine. As you can tell, I'm outside. I love being outside. 90% of the time, that's where I'm at. Let's see. I scrapbook, which helps a lot. I also do a lot of holistic medications as far as like making them. So that would be something else that I actually enjoy doing.
Nice. And if you're okay with, I don't really want to go into, you know, what you make or anything like that, but I guess kind of let's just go on maybe why was it your decision or choice to do your own in-home medication? Not that it's good, not that it's bad for any sides of it, but I follow suit with that. I am all about home remedies and home in-home in-house things. I am not a person to love the doctors, but realistically, who loves the doctors? Not very many people. If you do, you all are crazy, you all are weird. That's just you. And I'm here for it. I'll support you, but if we can kind of, you know, crack that a little bit of what made you choose, or what gave you the reason to choose your own home remedy.
So the first medication that I was prescribed, which I won't say what it is, but I will tell you this. I got to a point about a week after taking it that I couldn't remember my name. It started to take a very big toll on my brain. And I ended up getting off of all of the medications, and my daughter and I started looking into holistic ways of helping the inflammation in my body and helping the brain function, keeping the body balanced as far as, you know, salts and things like that. What are good, what kind of salts are good, you know. So what actually pushed me toward this is the side effects to the medication are the same situations that I face with lupus SLE. It's going to attack my kidneys. It's going to attack my liver. And with me having this type of disease, I did not want that. So we started to break it down. We started to make teas, just different, cooking in a different way and doing things like that instead of me actually being on the medications that were making me worse.
We'll be back after a quick break.
Don't forget to follow us on all the platforms: Instagram, Facebook, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and Amazon Music. Thank you for listening to the show.
Yes, and I think again where I'm catching this is that if you guys don't know, and I will insert this and say this in my own perspective, not in Lila's perspective, is that I feel, and the reason why I do as many home remedies as I do, and the things that I follow, and the things that I come up with and create and design, is because a lot of these, let's just say, hospital medications or medical medications, in my opinion, have a lot of chemicals in them, have a lot more things that tear your body apart, excuse me. But also, I think that with that being said, you know, when you already have a um thing that's attacking your body, such as this cancer, such as this lupus, and what have you, why enhance that? Why elevate the situation? It's all about mitigating it. It's all about slowing it down, and eventually curing it and catching it and in my opinion, if you have the ability to do what myself and Lila does to catch and cure and maybe prevent or stop said attack on your body, why not do it that way? And I think one of the more final things I want to wrap up with is that with you doing all these home remedies and everything along those lines, did you start the home remedies early on, or is this something you just came across because?
So it's about 4 months into diagnosis. So it's been quite some time that I started doing it. And like I said, I think I've had to go to the hospital twice in the last 2 years. That's it. So it it works. I can tell you this much. Like most of the people who have this type of lupus are on a lot of medications that can become addicting. And that's for the pain levels. And I can take turmeric and put that in all my food, and then also take cayenne pepper, which lowers the inflammation in the body, and I can function. So I can function better than most people who have this because what I feel is because I'm putting something good in instead of putting things that could eventually cause more harm.
Very, yeah, that's awesome. That's good. And another kind of point of emphasis that I want you guys to understand and learn is that if ever any of you guys are maybe caught in a situation like this, is that yes, listen to your doctors, listen to what they have to say, but at the same time, do your research, do your own diagnosis of okay, if I was the doctor in a doctor's shoes, this is how I would attack it. And again, that's not for everybody, and like I will say, this story and this podcast may not be for everybody as well, but we're here just to spread awareness on the situation at hand, and this is what the situation at hand is. And I want to remind you that if you have the ability, rather than just give this a listen or a like, there are or will be links on the screen for where this will be posted on social media, and also for where this will be posted for when it gets put on different platforms, such as here at Golden Sky Radio and other platforms as well. Again, if you could ultimately just share out her story, spread the word, spread the message. That is ultimately what this podcast is today, as much it is as it is for her to tell her story. We ultimately want to remind everybody that this is not a a begging story. That yes, if you can help, please do. Yes, if you can be of any kind of assistance, more than a follow, more than a like, more than a share, there are things for you to ultimately go along that route. And any appreciation at any level is loved and appreciated and will be cared for. And I'm going on a limb here, but I'm pretty confident to say that she'll have a format to show receipts and whatnot to do that for you. So if you can, if you're here on TikTok or wherever you're listening or could be listening, please make sure to follow her. Please make sure to follow Golden Sky Radio. And I think there's one or two more questions I'm going to ask about um, to Lila, for you guys to hear. That kind of just as I'm sitting here doing the show currently, hit home to me too as well. So with something as at any aspect, it is severe because it's the big C word and everybody hates the big C word. With this, how have you had the ability not to necessarily, I guess, mentally, because I'm a big mindset person, have not allowed it to take over your life? Because I want to make awareness to that. I know when certain people could be in certain situations, whatever the situation is, to whatever magnitude, how do they not let it overcome their mindset or their livelihood in general? Because you have a family on top of all this.
I
You've
do.
got some sons, a
I have a
couple daughter, and stuff like that, and a husband on top of it. So how do you have the right proper balance? I could say with yes, you know it's important to take care of yourself medically, but at the same time, you also know it's important to be a mom and a wife. How are you able to balance some of that stuff out?
So my biggest thing is trust. I trust the movements of whatever God is doing in my life. Mentally, I can't tell you guys that I've always been this strong because I haven't. I did have moments, and I won't act like I didn't. But from those moments grew a fight in me that made me realize that when we give in, when we give up, when we just accept, these things become our defeat. So understanding that we are magnificently designed and that there are plenty of herbs that can help that grow from the earth is what gives me comfort. Knowing where I am is, yes, I want to know that. I want to know what I'm looking at with this situation. But fear does not live inside of me. I want to be a light for people who walk through this, who don't understand that fear and stress will just feed it quicker. So for me, I think I'm strong within it because I'm okay and I'm going to be okay.
Yes, totally. And I think one of the last things I'll kind of wrap this up with is that uh, with all that strength, of course, ladies and gentlemen, understand that there are days, and again, I know medically that I just tap out and say enough is enough today, and I'll reset tomorrow. And we all have, let's just call it those dark days. I'm not saying we don't, but I guess the more or less the final thing I want to ask is a question, and then we'll do up some follow up things if there's anything else that I left out that you might want to mention. Is that with those I don't want to call them dark, but that's the only verbiage I know how to use. Is those dark situations? I know, like I said before, the outdoors probably helps with that. Some of whatever else you might do, give someone some advice or some details, not necessarily about what you do in your situation, but what they can do in their if whatever they're conquering or going through. And now we kind of turned it a message for the people to understand that we're here for others and we want them to conquer their issues or their re- because it's medical based. We'll say medical based, but if anyone's going through problems,
So make sure that you speak up. Um, I have a wonderful team behind me, people I've never met a day in my life, and they have been amazing. I can speak to them about anything, and that's very important. Once you're in your head and once you are listening to your head, you fall deeper into that pit of darkness. Finding things that you enjoy. Being outside is one of the major things for me because if you know about our worlds, then you know that everything it's energy. So I draw from the sun, I draw from the grass, I draw from the moon, the trees, all of those things. So grounding yourself and understanding that you know everything will work out. Also understanding that in your darkest moments is breeding a warrior. You are breeding a warrior because when you come out on those other sides of anything you're going through, you're going to be so much stronger than you were when you went into the test.
yes, that's beautiful. And I know that was the last one, but I do have one final thought because I was looking up at my screen
Mhm.
and it reminded me to ask you of it. Can you go into a little bit of detail, if you don't mind, about the whole shining a light? And I think that's really where what resonated with me, ladies and gentlemen, when I found her on social media. It was a simple profile picture, and I looked at it, and I knew there was more to the story behind a simple graphic, a simple, again, profile picture. If you don't mind, to kind of wrap this up as far as it goes, and then I'll ask you if you have any final thoughts or things that you want to add to it. But go into a little bit about, how you came across, your whole lantern and shining a light on others.
I got lost in the darkness. And at the point in time, I was looking everywhere for the lantern, someone to bring me just a little bit of light to help me get out of that darkness. And I was in that darkness for quite some time. I had lost my dad and 8 other family members, and it was coming in a 4-month span. Medical diagnosis came at that same time. I was very depressed, stressed, going through a lot. I got lost in that darkness, and I almost got lost to a point of not coming out. And when God woke me up and showed me why I had to go through that, what I needed to understand, it was basically you're looking for a light, but you're already there. You're already the light. So all I need you to do is to be that light that shines into others when they're in their darkest, when they're in their pits that they can't climb out of. And so the storehouse walk by faith became the light that shines on those who are laying on the ground without food, those who are going through a mental issue. I go live on TikTok every day. I try to be the light in people's lives. I hear about all the things that they're going through. Um, but I feel like the most important thing is that I'm not there for mental health. I'm there to teach them how to be the light. that is what we're missing from everywhere.
Beautiful, beautiful. I couldn't ask for a better show. This show, I could literally go on for like 10 hours. I won't keep everybody here for 10 hours, but if there's any final things that you want to add to it, or something that I might have missed when asking you some questions, please feel free to add them now, and say again where people can find you. If you don't mind sharing your social media platforms, please do that. And I'll leave the last couple of minutes for you. And again, no time limit.
Okay. So I can be found on, I'm only doing it on TikTok right now. That my platform is under my name, Lila Ellis. You'll find me with that exact picture that's up on the Donate to Help Lila. Trying to think of anything else. I will be taking you guys on this journey with me. So when I get to go into these doctors, I will be doing sometimes lives if that's allowed, and sometimes videos, but finding out all of my results, all those things will be shared with everyone. I also actually have the results that I have not put out yet, but that I got from the main doctor for the leukemia scare. I think that's about it. I think you handled everything, Coach. You did amazing.
Okay, well, again, I want to kind of wrap this up and say I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to, again, spread awareness, spread your story. And I can't wait to continue to share this with others. And I want to take the time to, again, thank you for your time. Thank you for your story. And again, ladies and gentlemen, remember, friendly reminder that everyone has a story and has the right to their own story. And if you have the ability, whatever your story you might have, to share it, please share it. Please speak out. Please speak up. More importantly, I think a part of life that people tend to forget is that there is a lot of things going on currently in the world that could be mitigated, could be slowed down and stopped. And we just need to speak out. We need to say what's on our mind, and we need to express it in the right professional manner, and take care of business that way. I want to wrap things up. Thank you for listening to the Inner Champions podcast on Golden Sky Radio, and we will see you in a week or two for another show. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.